I said starting.
Yeah. Breaker Crunchers, welcome to an exciting new episode of Couch Crunchers, where just like Lori Loughlin's kids, we will never quite live up to Aunt Becky's or Uncle Jesse's expectations. So we're joining you today all in one room. This has been a while since we've had a podcast like this. I am your host today, Lance, the series sergeant, and with me is
Max, the gamer guy,
and
Tyler, Captain Awesome.
And we are coming at you live from Phoenix, Arizona. How are you guys doing?
Doing great, man.
I am doing good.
This is weird. Like, I feel like I'm turning my head a lot. Like, when normally it's just the screen does it for me.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Can you find
so Max
what I just did? I don't know how to use a Mac, man.
What are you trying to do?
I was trying to put the Hangouts on one side of the screen and
Snap.
the internet on the other side. Well, can you find Hangouts to make sure we're still live?
Yeah. Well, we obviously are because people are watching that.
That's true. Sweet. Let's find Hangouts.
All right, let's start with Fab or Flubulous. Fab or Flub. So Fab or Flub is where we go over some headlines and we decide if they're fabulous or flubulous.
Oh, that's easier in person. So
yes, it is, right? Okay, so our first headline is something I'm excited about. So Zac Efron and Amanda Seyfried have been cast in the new live-action Scooby-Doo as Fred and Daphne.
Okay.
And because Zac Efron's in it, I think it's going to make a lot of money.
Yeah?
Yeah, I say Fab. I don't care about a Scooby-Doo movie. It's just not something I care about. But Zac Efron's great, and I love Amanda Seyfried. So, yeah, Fab, dude.
Max loves Amanda Seyfried.
Oh,
really?
Her big eyes are beautiful. Yeah, she's a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
I don't have the same opinion.
What do you think?
I think she kind of looks a little bit like a pug. But
Pug's like one of the most bought dogs ever because people think they're cute. I think so.
No, but I just don't. I've never really liked her acting style, I guess. She's fine, but I've just never been like, yay, Amanda Seyfried's in something. But Zac Efron being in it, that sounds cool. I mean, but I'm the same thing. I don't really care about a Scooby-Doo movie that much. Like, maybe when I was 14,
I never even saw the second one.
this is the first time hearing there was a second one?
There was, right?
Yeah, it's Scooby-Doo in it.
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
Yeah,
well,
okay.
It shows you how much I care.
my kids love Scooby-Doo.
Uh-huh.
And I like Scooby-Doo. Especially they did that Supernatural Scooby-Doo crossover 2 seasons ago that was awesome. I'm interested to see the style that they're going for because Zac Efron kind of comedy movies are a bit, different. I highly doubt they're going to go for the same style as the old movies. But I like both of them, so I think it's fab.
I just want the same Shaggy. He's so wonderful.
Yeah, so Matthew Lillard, who plays Shaggy, who's now in that show Good Girls, which is fantastic, by the way.
Yes.
I
knew I recognized him.
He found out via Twitter that he does not have that role anymore. So they didn't even. So he's been in those movies and voicing the character since those movies, in the cartoons and stuff. So he's had a 15-year career whenever the original movie came out as Shaggy. That's been his bread and butter. And lo and behold, he's just been fired.
How many to be laid off on via Twitter?
Hey. Yeah, that one sucks. That one I feel bad. But the guy, his name escapes me, but the guy who played Iago in the original Aladdin movie was on Twitter all pissed
Gilbert
off.
Gottfried.
Yeah, he was all pissed off that he didn't even get a call to play because Alan Tudyk is going to be Iago in Aladdin. And he's all pissed off that he didn't get the phone call and he found out on Twitter.
Well, I get it. Okay, because Iago from the cartoon is a pretty familiar, one-of-a-kind voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is Mufasa.
Well, I get it.
James Earl Jones, they recast
right.
him as Mufasa. Why didn't they do the same thing for Iago?
You're
the
right.
two most recognizable voices in that movie.
And I do think it's weird. Not Iago. I'm sorry. That's Lion King.
No.
No,
not.
yeah.
I got it right? Okay.
You got it right.
Zazu's Lion King.
Zazu's Lion King. Okay. Yeah. I guess it is kind of disappointing. I love Alan Tudyk. He's freaking awesome. You know, like in Doom Patrol, he's awesome. You know, Rogue One, whatever he's in, I love him. But I love Iago's voice in the original Aladdin, so I think it is kind of weird that he's not going to play that character.
He did it in the cartoon series. He did it in the video game. He did it in the original movie.
Okay, I didn't realize he was in the cartoon series. So I guess it's the exact same thing as Shaggy. So, okay.
So you got to think the 3 voices in those movies, right? Well, 4 if you count young Simba, right? Are like notable actors, right? You have Gilbert Gottfried, who's been in many things. He's now doing the Affleck Duck as well. You have Robin Williams, who obviously you can't recast him. Third, you have Mufasa, James Earl Jones, and then Gilbert Gottfried. JTT, Jonathan Taylor Thomas was Simba. He's not a boy anymore, so obviously he can't do the voice of Simba. So we got Donald Glover to do the voice of Simba, and the only one left out is Gilbert Gottfried. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And what are they going to have Alan Tudyk on there just imitating Gilbert Gottfried?
He's going to do his own thing, and it's going to be great, but it is going to be kind of weird when the original voice actor that is iconic is still alive and can do it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I understand why he would be upset, but in my opinion, Alan Tudyk wins.
Alan Tudyk is
I think it's going to be different.
It's going to be different, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, there's so many elements that are different about it that, you know, that difference in the movie, because Iago is like a recognizable character, but he's also not a main character. He's a supporting character, and changing his voice, I don't think is going to be the biggest change in the film. You know,
I agree if you're only looking at the original Aladdin in a microscope, but he was a main character in the cartoon series in the second,
which I didn't
see,
movies. I didn't see those as much. So
yeah.
There was a Sega Genesis games where it's him squawking as Iago. Like he's been in everything. Like that's who Iago is. Just like the genie is Robin Williams. I think Disney asking us to accept some change is great, but to just completely overhaul the whole thing and leave James Earl Jones makes no sense.
Yeah.
Well, that's Lion King, but
no. Oh wait,
James Earl Jones is Lion King. He's Mufasa.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's why I'm confusing you.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why you were confusing me, because you were talking about
I got
actors from 2 different movies that are also both coming out this year, but they're live action remakes, because Lion King isn't really live action. But I don't care. I think it's gonna be cool. But can we just talk really quick about the latest Aladdin trailer and like what you guys thought, especially specifically Will Smith, because stepping into freaking Robin Williams' shoes, who could even do that and succeed?
Yeah. I think there were parts of it that looked amazing, and then other parts that I thought didn't as much. Like a lot, like the visuals look beautiful. Like the whole thing looks.
Oh, it's going to.
Yeah, it looks beautiful, but at the same time, there are just certain details that didn't really match up with the characters. Like, for example,
Jafar looks stupid.
Looks
awful.
And
his
then
voice doesn't sound right.
No,
either.
he's like it's like a higher pitched male voice, which that's fine, but not for Jafar. When you have the character from the cartoon that was so,
he had like
that was part of his personality was his voice.
Yeah.
Well, and then
the diamond in the rough, or whatever, like.
Yeah, exactly.
That's gonna distract me.
But then Aladdin, his clothes look like he's in a semi-formal attire for a business or something. Like he doesn't look like,
and he's clean.
Yeah,
he's a street rat, and he's like spotless.
All of his clothes are clean.
I think they're going
There's
with
no
the
patches
traditional-
or anything.
Aren't they going with the traditional look?
Traditional look of a street rat? That's not a traditional look of a street rat.
Yeah,
like that's a clean cut businessman look. Like it's not a street rat look. Like he's supposed to be dirty, patchy clothes. Like there's no reason why. Obviously, being a princess, he would still be below her station. But it's not like the whole huge thing of that movie is there's such a gap between a street rat and a princess. Like it's the ultimate gap, Yeah. Whereas now it's like, well, he looks kind of mid upper class and a princess. Like there's not that like.
Well,
I'd be
interested to see. I didn't get that same notion. I mean, I didn't notice that.
I noticed he wasn't dirty, but the clothes.
Well,
being
if you
higher
look at his
class-
clothes, they look nice. Like he looks like a guy going to work, like in that era, like being like a businessman. Like that's what it looked like to me, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, if you re-look at it, like that's how that was my feel of it, and like maybe I noticed that more than some people did, just because I was like looking at Aladdin, like why does he look like that, you know? But that was one of the other things, and then obviously there's the huge controversy with the genie when he's blue.
Yeah.
I think it looks terrible. It looks. I mean, the effects were done well.
Yeah.
But what they were going for looks bad.
Well, the teaser trailer where it just shows him at the end, and the last scene is Will Smith. It looks bad. But the second trailer come out where you actually hear Will Smith singing some of the songs, and you see a little bit more of them. It doesn't look so bad. Like I think
the second trailer was much better. As far as the genie is concerned, it looked a lot better.
Well, I think they had to come out with that.
Yeah, and I think that like they're going to be incorporating Will Smith's like rap style of music that he did in his own career.
Doesn't sing.
He can, but yeah, it seems like his song is going to be more of a rap.
It could be, yeah.
Like I mean, if you even heard it in the trailer, it's like you never had a friend like me. Like he was
Right,
kind of like
Because he has to speak. He doesn't sing. Will Smith doesn't really sing.
Which I think it could be an interesting take. It is a little disappointing because man, Robin Williams knocked it out the park. But
Well, I think that's what they're trying to accomplish is no one could ever recreate the role that Robin Williams did.
No.
So now this is just different.
They're
Instead of trying to do the same thing, it's different. Because it's not Will Smith playing Robin Williams playing the genie. It's Will Smith playing the genie. It's
right.
a new
Which is the right direction to go with it.
Yeah.
Like, trying to imitate Robin Williams, you're going to fail.
Oh, you would just frustrate a ton of people if you
Yeah.
You just piss them off if you try to imitate.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's not imitating. So
Right.
I think I'm letting that one slide.
And Will Smith is a great actor, and there's not really a lot of people that I could say put in this role, you know, like, and there's probably not even some actors who would even be brave enough to go forward and do it, you know, to try and replace Robin Williams as that role, you know, but you know, I think that's the right direction, is to not try and imitate, not try and be Robin Williams, be your own version of that character.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have liked it better if they pick somebody like Jack Black or something like that has like a larger than life personality, like Robin Williams did.
Yeah.
Now I want Jack Black to play the genie.
Yeah,
that would have been fantastic.
I'm amazed, but it really seemed like the objective of this
His
entire
singing
movie
would
was
have just been.
Yeah.
Oh, and he can actually sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think
You've
about
never
that.
been a friend in me.
Yeah, it would have been School of Rock meets the Genie. That would have been great.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well let's go to the next. So Aladdin's not even on my list. How did we get there?
I
Well, it was a good
derailed that.
discussion.
Sorry.
It was a good discussion. It was a good discussion. Okay, so since we're on the subject of Disney, we know of some big news that hit this week. The finalization.
What could it be?
The finalization of the Disney Fox merger.
Right.
So I know there's mixed emotions on this. On one side, a lot of people are happy because you get to finally see the Marvel universe as a whole.
Yeah.
Kind of, without Sony putting their fingers in.
Mm-hmm.
But you get to see it mostly 90% whole, right? We probably won't ever see Venom or anything like that, but for the most part. On the other part, it means less movies. It means less big budget tentpole movies every year.
Does it?
Yes, you're taking out probably the second or third largest movie production studio. Like Disney is not going to be putting out the same level of production as two studios, separate entities would. You're not going to get that. Think about it now too. Before we were getting all of our MCU movies and all of our Fox Marvel movies, right?
Yeah,
So
which is like one every few years, really.
Well, this year there was supposed to be two.
Yeah.
Dark Phoenix and New Mutants were scheduled to come out, and now New Mutants is even coming out. You won't get that again. Now we're going to be stuck with 2 or 3 Marvel movies a year instead of sometimes 4 or 5.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we could maybe see a change to that. But the MCU has been 3 a year. Which, by the way, I'm going to say fab. Well, I thought for the last few years it's been 3 consistently. Like, they made a change to where Kevin Feige said we're going to have 3 every year. And it's been that way for like the last 3 years, is what I'm recalling. I mean, this year we've got Captain Marvel, Infinity War, and Far From Home. We have 3 this year. But and you may be right. Maybe we won't get as many Marvel movies as we could have, because last year we had Deadpool as well. That's an X-Men movie, and 2017 we had Logan. So I guess more have been coming out that I'm realizing, because 2016 was Apocalypse. So yeah, you're right. Maybe we are missing 1 a year, or maybe they'll add a 4th movie.
The articles that I've been reading is no, and already some movies that were in pre-production that were greenlit and ready to go are being canceled. For instance, there was a Ben Affleck movie with Matt Damon coming out where it was greenlit. It's like ready to go. They casted it all and everything, and now Disney is canceling it. So keep talking about it, and I'll look it up.
Okay.
But yeah,
I don't know. For me, just the fact alone that we get to finally see the X-Men in the Avengers, I don't care if we get 1 less movie a year. I don't care.
No, but you're thinking of it too small. This is going to limit the amount of movies that come out a year in anything.
Yeah, you're thinking not just the superhero genre.
There's going to be less projects.
Maybe. I don't know that that's necessarily true. A lot of times companies will take over another company, and that other company will maybe get some new management, but it'll still keep running.
Well, the thing, Disney immediately went in and already shut down an entire studio.
True.
Fox 2000 shut down. And Fox 2000 was responsible for putting out a couple movies a year, like Fault in Our Stars and things like that. It's kind of like in between Fox and Fox Searchlight is where Fox 2000 said. They closed it. 5,000 jobs gone.
And that sucks.
But did they not have any plans to expand the studio to accommodate more production?
I'm sure they do. I really am.
I mean, that's what I would think, because usually that's what you would do in that type of situation as a company. You absorb more product, basically more intellectual property. You would expand to be able to produce what you need to for that intellectual property.
No, because think about what before you had. Sometimes you may have a Disney movie and a Fox movie releasing on the same day. That happened often.
Okay,
it's not going to happen anymore. You have 1 less studio competing. There was competition before. When you monopolize a market like what they're doing, because now think of the big tentpole production companies: Disney, Warner Brothers, Sony, probably it.
I mean, yeah, those are the biggest ones. Yeah,
those are the biggest ones.
Yeah, DreamWorks. Yeah, some of these other ones. Yeah, those are the biggest ones. Yeah.
And then you have Fox.
Yeah.
All 4 of these studios were trying to put their product out in prime, summer, Christmas, these prime dates.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the time, more often than not, Disney and Fox would release a movie at the same time. That's not going to happen anymore. There will be less movies. This is why the Screen Actors Guild was trying to stop the merger, because there's going to be less projects.
I'm still not convinced that's true, because I look at Microsoft, for the gaming industry, for instance, they've just bought a ton of studios. And all of those studios are going to keep working on projects. They're going to keep doing what they were going to do. They're just going to be exclusive to Xbox now. So I don't know. And I know the film industry is different than the video game industry, but I don't know. It might mean a few less projects, but I don't think it's going to be that different. And I don't think that Disney is going to be afraid to compete with themselves. I mean, isn't Dumbo coming out the same weekend as another Disney movie this year? I'm pretty sure that not the same. I don't know. I would not be surprised if Disney releases a Fault in Our Stars style movie, in the future, but they also release an Avengers movie on the same weekend. They're somewhat different audiences. I don't know. I don't know that they're going to be that worried about it, so long as the movies are different enough. Yeah, they're not going to release X-Men and, Iron Man 4, which isn't going to ever happen, but, on the same weekend, obviously. But I don't know. I really don't think it's going to reduce the movies that much.
So I believe that the movie was called Witness for the prosecution. It was Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, where
Ben Affleck is getting screwed lately. Writes a Batman script that gets canceled. He leaves the role.
Well, that's not him getting
him.
screwed. Yeah, that's him backing out of something he was barely getting his shoes into.
Yeah, that's true.
But now it's rumored that he may return.
Batman?
Yeah, I read something maybe 3 days ago. They're saying, well, maybe let's halt the brakes on maybe Ben Affleck not ever being Batman.
He's already publicly said that.
I think
I don't care. DC, no one knows what the heck they're doing.
It's so frustrating because I really want to talk about Shazam and some of the things that would make me believe. They don't overtly say anything, so let me just put that out the window right now. But some of the things that would make me believe that maybe DC is pumping the brakes on the canceling the DC EU thing. Because the last 3 movies that they've come out with have been successful.
Yeah, they've been good. I mean,
Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Shazam.
Well, Shazam hasn't come out yet.
But it's set to be successful.
Yeah.
They're saying a $40 million opening weekend, which is good.
So jealous of you guys.
And it's getting fantastic.
These fools got to see it,
and we loved it, right?
Oh yeah, I thought it was great.
It's my favorite DCEU movie.
I think
check out the review. It's 4.5 couch cushions there. So.
Yeah, you just put it out today, right?
Yeah.
And his one argument that he has, I don't necessarily agree with, so I may like it more than he does.
Well, Michael loved it. My brother loved it. He went to that early screening with you guys as well. Like, I've heard nothing but amazing, best DC movie, or at least top 3. Like, no one has said really anything negative about it. So I don't want to talk too much about it because I haven't had the chance to see it like these lucky SOBs. But,
well, here's one of my major issues with it, and really it's not even something that made the movie not enjoyable. It was just a consistency issue. Is I felt like that
the transition from Billy Batson to Shazam.
From Billy to Shazam and vice versa, there was a wide margin where they seemed to be very different people, but they're supposed to be the same person, just a different body. You know what I mean? And I didn't feel like they were the same person most of the time.
Really? From the trailer, I got the vibe that the little kid was, or not little, but the teenage boy was acting like Zachary Levi. But
he was the problem was that he had, and he was true to the writing, I think, but he was just so like somber faced like the entire time. Whereas when he was Shazam, it was the complete opposite.
I haven't seen the movie, but that to me could also be the same idea of Batman and Bruce Wayne are totally different people.
Well, but he wasn't going for an alter ego yet. You know, there's a huge section of the movie where he's not yet going for an alter ego.
See, and I came up with this argument of when he becomes Shazam, when he's in the body, he has an overwhelming sense of
confidence, right? I mean,
confidence.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
And that's why that transition didn't bother me, because yes, it's the same person, but emotionally they're different people when he's in the body and when he's not.
Here's a parallel. You guys are probably gonna be like throwback. Steve Urkel, and then when he turns into that like
Julia White.
Yeah, the like.
But that machine is supposed to change his personality.
That's true.
Okay, but
so it just makes me think of that. He's this like nerd.
Like,
yeah, but he's like this nerdy, like super unconfident guy, and then he does that machine, and he's like, hey,
yeah,
you know, like.
But here's the thing though. Here's why I would say I disagree with you on that, Lance, is because when he becomes Shazam, like I understand why he's depressed and somber a little bit before he's Shazam, but when he becomes Shazam, even after he transitions back to Billy, like he should know that he's Shazam and be like, this is awesome. You know, like he should still be like, this is super cool. I have superpowers. You know, whereas he kind of goes back to like, my life sucks. You know, like, and so like, I just felt like there was this transition where it didn't match.
Yeah, see, and I felt like throughout the movie that he, as the boy, he starts to gain the confidence.
He does a little bit, but I didn't feel like it. I just didn't feel like the character matched.
But it's a fantastic movie. It comes out April 5th.
Yeah, I've got my ticket.
April 5th. It was so good. Like the comedy in it was like some of the best comedy in any superhero movie I've ever seen.
If I had to rate it,
Levi steal the show.
Oh yeah,
he's so good. He's so good.
Well, and his foster brother was fantastic too. The one on crutches.
Oh, yeah.
From It. He's in It.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name. He plays Eddie in It. Right.
Oh.
He's the one that breaks his arm. You know, that's afraid of germs and stuff. He was fantastic too. So Zachary Levi playing off of this kid, it was an awesome dynamic.
Yeah.
It was great. And
You
how
said
can
if you
you
had to
not
rank
love
it-
Zachary Levi?
Oh
Like,
yeah, no, he's awesome.
if you don't love Chuck, shame on you.
Yeah.
He's so good in
Shame
Chuck.
on you. But I felt like he was playing like a kind of like a more adolescent version of Chuck.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Somebody that didn't quite know how to use the abilities that he's suddenly gotten by accident, essentially. And he's trying to discover those abilities and feels kind of out of place. And it was fantastic.
Well, and one of the things that I talk about in the reviews, I feel like Zachary Levi was as excited to play Shazam as a 14-year-old kid would be to be Shazam.
Yeah.
You know, and so that came out on the screen, and it was authentic. You know, it was really
Extremely.
yeah. So
he's believable. When they cast him, I was like, wait a minute, Shazam's supposed to be this like bulking big guy,
yeah,
and Zachary Levi is not. I mean,
Right.
that was the appeal of Chuck, is he's not a hulking guy.
right.
And by the end of the movie, you believe that Zachary Levi's a hulking guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was fantastic.
And he did gain some weight for the movie, but he definitely the suit definitely augments that.
Oh yeah. But there's twists and turns, like things that you don't expect because the trailers don't show you everything. And
Yeah, of course.
And I loved it. I loved it that I was surprised.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There was
really
surprising moments in this movie.
Yeah.
That were, great.
There were even a couple moments that just like the audience was just like, holy crap, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and like I didn't really expect that too much, because Shazam is so lighthearted, but they did such a good job of making the villain opposing, like he was so
Mark
dark.
Strong. Okay.
Yeah, his character was so dark, and they just made that clash be really cohesive.
Yeah.
In the movie, I thought it was really good.
So they cast Mark Strong as the villain in this movie, and when they did that, I was upset, like physically upset, because he was so good. The one redeeming quality of the Green Lantern was him as Sinestro. He was so good. He looks like Sinestro. He was awesome. And I wanted him to be Sinestro. Like,
okay.
It was so good, and it's the same movie studio. So, but he was so good. And then I saw this movie, and I'm like, oh, all right. Like, he doesn't have to be Sinestro.
Yeah.
Like, I'm bummed out, but then I'm like, oh no, it was good. Like, if this movie would have sucked, I'd be like, see, you should have been Sinestro. But he's the one redeeming quality of the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie.
Next time we get together, we'll talk about this more in depth with spoilers once I've seen it.
We are going to spoil the crap out of it.
Yeah. Not next Saturday, but the next. Absolutely. April 7th. No, 6th.
Let's do one more Fab or Flub because it's a big one. And it happened right after we got off the air 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
James Gunn is now Guardians of the Galaxy.
Woo! Fab!
Once again, balance is restored to the universe.
I'm gonna put Fab in the chat and just caps. Woo!
But once again, restored as the director. It's come out that Marvel didn't really ever look for anybody else. So I kind of feel a bit like teased by Disney, so shame on them for even putting us through this emotional distress. Like, dude, I don't understand. And yes, a lot of people will say Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is not as good as Volume 1.
And it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It was not as good.
But nobody loves that franchise as much as James Gunn. And I don't know if there's anybody that would have given it the same level of love as James Gunn.
And I look at this. The Star Wars trilogy, this new one. Personally, I like The Last Jedi. It's got a lot of issues. But even though I like it, I really think that it would have benefited from having the same director for all three movies. So I'm really glad that James Gunn gets to take his vision for this trilogy and do the entire thing.
Right? Yeah.
And
they were going to use his script. You use the dude's script, let him direct it. Like, if he did something so egregious that he needed to be fired, but you're still going to use his script and still give him writing credit,
So
just let him direct the damn thing. His name's already there.
here's what happened. James Gunn is the boyfriend. Disney was the girlfriend. They're like, you did something I don't like. I'm breaking up with you. James Gunn got a rebound job with this chick that Disney, was a rival with. And she was like, crap. James Gunn's now dating Warner Brothers? Come back! Come back! Now that he's with freaking Suicide Squad 2, which also is awesome news. Like, James Gunn is an amazing.
And meanwhile, nobody's knocking on the girlfriend's door like, hey, I want to date you.
Well, and how many cross-universe directors are there? Are there any other ones? Joss Whedon? Okay. So, but there's so many more, like...
hopefully James Gunn isn't another Joss Whedon. Justice League was not good, but Avengers was great. So
well, okay. I have to take issue with that comment right there. Joss Whedon tried to make something out of a shit show. Okay, he tried to make. So he was battling two different things. Warner Brothers did not want him to get rid of Zack Snyder footage.
Yeah.
Okay. Joss Whedon wanted to make his movie. But he had to use Zack Snyder stuff.
Those two directors are so opposite. They should never have hired Joss Whedon.
Warner Brothers screwed up by hiring Joss Whedon, but I will not say it's Joss Whedon's fault.
Fair enough.
Just because Joss Whedon would never come out with a movie like what Zack Snyder did, and you can see how it jumps back and forth from a Zack Snyder movie to a Joss Whedon movie.
Yeah, it was a big mistake. They should have hired someone else to pick up from where Zack Snyder left off, but similar to Zack Snyder. That maybe they could have made it a little bit lighter, but. Joss Whedon was a terrible choice for that.
They should have got J.J. Abrams.
J.J. Abrams would have been good.
Because J.J. Abrams has similar vision as Zack
He can be
Snyder,
dark,
but he's a better
but
storyteller.
Yeah.
But that's the issue.
Christopher Nolan do a DC movie again?
Well, Christopher Nolan produces all these things, so he's involved.
He's involved, but
all of them.
Put him behind the camera.
But what was I going to say? Well, yeah. So you see the differences, but that's the issue when you were saying The Last Jedi with J.J. Abrams, because didn't he direct The Force Awakens?
Yeah.
When you hired J.J. Abrams to come in and fix something, he does it once and then passes it off. He did the same thing with Star Trek.
He did the first two though for Star Trek.
Yeah.
And then the third one was good
because he didn't do it.
Yeah. So
he passes it off. He never sees anything through.
And that's an issue. Like, he did a good job with Star Trek. I think people didn't like Star Trek Into Darkness as much as I did, but I loved it.
I loved that movie. I don't know why people hate that movie.
It was incredible.
I think it's because
it's not the
it
same
was
as Khan.
too much of a ripoff of the which one's the one that Khan's in? The original Wrath of Khan. It was too much. Like, it had too many elements. It wasn't.
Well, it was supposed to be a recreation, but I felt like it was pretty different from Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I mean they're 30, 40 years apart. When did the original come out?
Yeah,
I mean they had to be different. But
but the original Wrath of Khan, a lot of the story is like it's the ships fighting in space and Captain Kirk using strategy to beat him, and it's almost similar to like a submarine movie that you would watch. Like they go silent and like try and like outmaneuver the other person. It wasn't really like that in
that's true. And it's more J.J. Abrams-y, but I think people just wanted something new.
And I liked the reversal because they changed up the roles of Spock and Captain Kirk in the movies. And Captain Kirk dies, and then Spock yells "Gone!" It's like that reversal of roles. That was kind of fun. So I don't know. I mean, they took the elements of that movie. They did take those elements on purpose, but I think they twisted it in a cool way. But I can see hardcore fans not liking that as much.
It just didn't feel like a Star Trek movie. And Wrath of Khan is beloved. Like, when you talk about the original Star Trek movies, Wrath of Khan is largely considered one of the best ones.
Oh, it's probably
the
universally considered the best one. Yeah.
And that's the one Leonard Nimoy directed, I believe.
Oh, is it?
Wrath of Khan.
I didn't know that.
I know he did a couple. And now I'm trying to remember all this. Like, I'm not a huge Star Trek fan. I love Star Trek, but not huge. Like,
yeah.
But it's I don't know. I wish he would come back, but now Quentin Tarantino's coming out with this one, right?
Is that still a thing?
Well, I mean, it doesn't
for
have
the next.
The one that's not a thing is the one they were trying to get Chris Pine back, and that one fell through. But I don't think Quentin Tarantino's has Chris Pine or anything in it.
No, his is supposed to be like a rated R one that's
It's a spin-off.
going to be stupid, and I don't think that's a good idea, but whatever. That's not what we're talking about. And we are already at like an hour in, so we should probably...
Oh my gosh, are you serious? All right. That brings us to the end of Fab or Flub. We should have ended about 20 minutes ago.
I don't think we actually started 20 minutes late, so we're not an hour in.
Okay. So us three here watched The Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
Something we've been wanting to talk about for the last, 3 episodes?
Yeah.
And we end up taking too long. So this time we put it right after Fab or Flub because we really wanted to talk about it. Now, as you guys know, I'm a huge My Chemical Romance fan.
Yes.
So I was the one that initially told you two to watch The Umbrella Academy, right?
Yeah. You and my brother were like hounding me to watch it, and I was in the middle of watching Vikings. I was like, I'm not ready yet. I'm watching Ragnar Lothbrok do Viking stuff, okay? I wasn't ready.
And what did you think of The Umbrella Academy?
I thought Vikings was great. And I finished it, and then I watched Umbrella Academy, and it was also great. I loved it. It was super good. It was quirky and like goofy, silly, just fun. Like, I loved the young, like 50, 60-year-old brother that is in the body of a 14-year-old, and how much of a jerk he was, but it was hilarious.
The element, like the story elements in it are fantastic. But did any of you get the feeling that this show, the way it was made and everything, would have made an awesome X-Men movie?
It was essentially an X-Men movie with like that was just a dysfunctional family, basically. Yeah,
I would have loved to see that.
Yeah,
I would have loved to see that as an X-Men movie. Like, I loved it. I loved the music. I loved the acting. There was a couple things that, because I'm not familiar with the comic book,
Me neither.
But there was a couple things I'm like, oh man, I wish they would have explained how that happened. For instance, the monkey.
Yeah, they never explained that.
He comes on the screen, and my wife comes in and goes, "Is that a talking monkey?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't know where he came from."
There was a scientist, and there's a monkey now. Yeah.
It made no sense.
But speaking of the monkey, I thought the animation on that was like film level good.
Oh,
it was
the
monkey
show. It was fantastic.
So good, and it made me okay with the fact that Netflix has risen our prices, increased our prices. Because if that's the kind of quality we can expect, and that's why they increased the prices by like $2 or whatever a month, I can get behind that. Because I like the Netflix originals, even though they've gotten rid of like the Marvel ones. Like, I still like enough of them that I'm cool with it. Umbrella Academy was so good, and I also need to say that real big like turtle suit looking guy, or the gorilla guy, he looks so much like Patrick Wilson.
He does a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's what I was going to say. I was going to bring him up. I think the monkey looks so good because they put all the money in the monkey and didn't put it into the guy. That's a giant body.
I looked up the comics, and he looked silly, but he looked a lot like he did in the comics.
I would have liked a little bit more.
And
I agree. He didn't look great.
I don't understand his powers that much. Like, was he strong before he was a monkey?
He was.
Okay. Because, like, I was just like, everybody's trying, like, showing their powers and stuff, and only, he's
just super strong.
What's-her-face is supposed to not have powers, And then, so I was like, that's what I was questioning, because they didn't show him before he was a monkey guy.
Yeah. And we're spoiling, right?
Absolutely. It's been out for weeks.
Okay, so this is your official spoiler warning. This was like... It's funny that this came out this year, and then we have Dark Phoenix coming out later this year. Because it was Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
And it probably was going to be better. Probably. Well, this is why I keep saying how much I love these Amazon, Hulu. Well, actually, I haven't watched the Hulu original yet. I need to. But Netflix and like Amazon's originals are
you haven't watched any Hulu originals?
I haven't. And I'm going to. They're on my list, but I haven't. And this is the reason I like them so much is that they have these shorter episodes where we get, like 10 episodes. The production quality's put in there.
Oh, you mean shorter seasons?
Shorter seasons, yeah. Sorry. And so it's like 10 episodes, 10 to 15 or whatever. Get a lot of production quality, and we get all this character development. that you don't get in a movie.
There's no
and I
CW.
love movies.
There's no CW fillers.
No, and I would argue that like some of the Netflix ones near the end there needed 3 less episodes. There was like
the Marvel ones.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Like there was some filler near the end there, but still, like they're awesome. And so Umbrella Academy is great. And so for that reason alone, I think it'll be better than Dark Phoenix, because even though we've had another movie with these characters, we don't have that same connection to these versions of the X-Men. In fact, it's from my perspective, they weren't very good in Apocalypse. So I don't have any connection to them. If they die, they die. Whatever. So
if that's the only way I could see Disney like saying like this is the end. Because if that movie ends in a friggin' cliffhanger, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, I doubt it will. I think
I want Disney to put a cap in it. Like they own it now, film some scenes.
Yeah, Fox has known for a while that they're ending. And I think it was like 2016 when I was standing in line for Rogue One when I found out about the Fox Disney merger. So to see Rogue One. So it was like December of 2016. So Fox has known for a while. I would be very, very surprised if they put a cliffhanger at the end.
They don't pull
knowing that they're losing the license. Like it's gonna wrap up with a bow, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's why it got delayed. I think they probably did reshoots to do that.
Yeah, they're not gonna try and pull an Alita, and
that was Fox, right?
I don't know.
I think that was Fox.
I mean, Alita was awesome, but we know that they're planning on doing it. They were wanting to plan on doing an Alita 2. Yeah. That was the whole goal.
Well, now they are.
So, did they announce they're doing this?
Well, it's made a ton of money overseas, so yes, they are.
Okay. Yeah, that's fantastic.
It's done really well, and it started picking up here from word of mouth, like a couple weeks after. Good. They didn't do good promotion before that movie came out.
You know what? I think Captain Marvel was actually good for Alita, because on all the Facebook posts I saw for Captain Marvel, they all these people were saying, you want a good female-led movie? Go see Alita. And so, I feel like the Captain Marvel gave a lot of advertising for Alita.
Yeah, and Captain Marvel is going to make more money still because it's Marvel.
Right.
Saying it's going to hit $1 billion.
But anyway,
let's go back to the Umbrella.
I don't. Well, we were talking about X-Men, Dark Phoenix. I don't think that they're going to pull something like that because, like you said, they've known for a while that this is coming.
So. You're absolutely right.
Woohoo! I don't get to hear that from my wife ever, so this is wonderful.
I hope so.
Yeah.
But Fox also has New Mutants sitting there. So I don't know if this one is intending to lead into New Mutants, because the rumor is that they will release it on Disney Plus or Hulu. New Mutants will come out. I don't know what they're doing.
Not interested in that movie at all.
That one, actually, I was excited for because it looked different.
Anyway,
different.
Umbrella Academy.
I mean, okay, so this is how much of an impact that show had, okay? The Umbrella Academy comes on. Everybody's watching it. Everybody's raving about it. It's like one of the big shows this year for Netflix.
Absolutely.
My Chemical Romance's album re-enters the top 200 after a decade.
Wow.
And not just 199. It was well in there. I think it 120 or something like that. But it re-enters, and it wasn't even Black Parade. It wasn't even their biggest album. It was 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge, which came before Black Parade.
That's weird because the show doesn't say anything about My Chemical Romance. It just seems like it was this word of mouth about the fact that the My Chemical Romance lead singer wrote it.
My Chemical Romance has a very devoted fan base.
Yeah.
Extremely devoted. My Chemical Romance, one of the top trending topics about 2 weeks ago or something like that was My Chemical Romance's Twitter account was having activity after being offline for 4 years. That was the headline. Someone did something. Didn't say anything. Didn't do anything. But someone said something. And it broke the internet practically.
That My Chemical Romance had some activity.
Their Twitter came on. So My Chemical Romance, it was the 15-year anniversary or something like that of the Black Parade. They go on Facebook or Twitter and just post a picture. And you come to find out later that the picture was to promote the reissue or a deluxe version of the Black Parade coming out, right?
Okay.
But people started freaking out thinking that a My Chemical Romance reunion was happening. And people went crazy. anything that band does or anything that band doesn't do has people going nuts.
Well, then I'm glad that it brought us Umbrella Academy because I really enjoyed it.
He's fantastic. Like
I really enjoyed it.
He and Claudio Sanchez from Coheed and Cambria have some of the most inventive because he has a comic book too, the Turbine Blade or something like that. I forget what it's called, but he's come out with a couple comic book series.
So here's what we need:
very
Netflix needs to be the exclusive provider for all punk rock comic books adaptations.
Right. But I bet you they'll delve a little bit more into this.
Well, I think
maybe
so too.
Some of this Dark Horse or
I think that Netflix knows that there's a big market for this, and so they're going to do it. They can't. The reason Marvel didn't last is because even though it was getting more views than a lot of their other stuff, Disney's cost to use the license is astronomically high. So I think Netflix is like, well, let's go for these smaller licenses that aren't going to cost as much.
Did you see?
Just as good.
Did you see they're finally auctioning off the costumes and everything from the shows, the Marvel Netflix shows?
No,
I didn't know.
So that's pretty much the nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Like, no, they're all going to get rebooted.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because I really wanted to see John Bernthal back as the Punisher.
Yeah, me too. And I wanted to see
everybody
Daredevil back, and yeah, that's really too bad.
But very few of those actors embody their character like John Bernthal did the Punisher.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
He was.
You can say what you want about the show, but the casting was absolutely flawless.
I still think Charlie Cox was also just.
Charlie Cox bugs me when he puts on the mask and he has too round of a chin. Like every time I look at him, I was like, dude, you don't fill out that suit very well.
Yeah.
But John Bernthal is believable. Like,
John Bernthal,
look, tone, he basically plays Shane from The Walking Dead, and they change his name, and that's him. It's essentially the
You
same
said
guy.
that. I don't agree, but I also haven't watched The Walking Dead season 1 and 2 for a long time. So
The attitude, everything about Shane is what the Punisher is, Frank Castle.
yeah.
At least what they did in Walking Dead.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I really enjoyed Shane's very brief cameo in Andrew Lincoln's last episode on The Walking Dead, which was a while ago.
Yeah, which is funny. You say that you haven't watched as much as me. I have not watched any of the season.
Yeah,
he was leaving. I was like, well, that's it. I lost interest.
I'm losing interest too. The season hasn't been bad, but
Now Michonne's leaving.
yeah, dude, I am just like Maggie left, Michonne's leaving, Andrew Lincoln left. Rick's gone, Carl's gone, but it's just whatever. Anyway,
Which Carl showed up on a Million Little Things.
I know, I love it.
And I was like, Carl! His name's PJ. I'm like, what the hell?
I saw him. I was like, what do I know this? I know that kid. Where do I know him? Where do I know him? And then I looked him up. I'm like, oh yeah, Coral.
Which can I say, A Million Little Things, how fantastic.
Dude, I love that
is.
show.
We
I
won't
love it.
touch on it long, but have you watched it?
Yeah, I'm not a big. It's just not my genre.
So you don't like This Is Us either?
No.
Yeah,
It's not my genre.
It's like A Million Little Things and This Is Us are like right next to each other for me. I love them.
I wanted to like it because I love James
Sean
Earl.
Spencer.
Yeah, Sean Spencer.
I love.
He's fantastic.
You notice that he plays like a very similar
He's the
character.
same character. He's the same.
Well,
He's more
in a
goofy
lot
in
of
sight.
ways.
He's more goofy.
Yeah,
Yeah, but he's similar.
he's similar.
Like,
For sure.
perfect. You watch the show for him.
No,
But
I
he
watched
doesn't-
it for his girlfriend.
Oh yeah, I like her too. But do you notice everybody in that show is from another show?
That's usually how it works.
But no, everybody in that show is like notable for another show.
I believe you, but I don't know any of those people.
We got off topic though,
Yeah.
because we got Umbrella Academy. Are we putting a cap in it? It's a must see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
give it a 4.5.
Dude, but here's the thing.
A
Okay,
5.
so because I think you guys like Umbrella Academy more than I did. Like I really liked it. I enjoyed it. But did you have anything that you would have changed about it?
The look of Gorilla Man, for one.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
The casting of that Time Lady, I thought.
You didn't like her?
Oh, I liked her.
Really?
The lady from
I liked her. I thought she was good.
13 Reasons Why.
Yeah.
I don't recall her name in Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, I
remember
didn't
her
I didn't like her a
I do
lot.
not watch Grey's Anatomy. When I was watching, I was like, "Oh, that's the lady from 13 Reasons Why." My wife goes, "And Grey's Anatomy." And I was like,
I remembered it from 13
F
Reasons
me
Why.
then. You know,
Yeah,
like
that's really not pertinent information. So
I wouldn't change a lot. I just didn't love that casting. And I also really didn't understand, like, were the 2 agents that were hunting him superpowered or something? Because
No, they're
there
just
was
time
one
jumpers.
No, they were just
part
Scarlett
where
Johansson's.
Okay, but there was one part that it looked like the female agent got slashed across the neck, and then she was alive. It must not have been her neck, but like it was just like it seemed like they had superpowers.
They seemed very strong, but they weren't supposed to be superpowered.
Yeah, well, that wasn't clear to me. So
It's kind of like when you watch like the Batman cartoons and Batman gets punched through a rock. But Batman doesn't have superpowers, but he survives all this crap.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that's another thing of the 2 agents. The girl wasn't believable.
Really?
She said she tried to have these like one-liners, like yeah, gotcha. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm like, shut up. Like, it didn't stick with the same effectiveness as the other partner. Mm-hmm. So the other partner, and I don't recall his name, but he was also in this show called Mindhunter, which is on Netflix.
Okay.
Where he plays a serial killer, and he is by far the best part of that show. He's with glasses, and like the performance he gives is chilling. Like it's so good. And so when I noticed that was the same guy, I instantly got excited. But his delivery and everything, he's one of the best parts of the show. And if you watch him closely, you see just how much effort he is putting into his role.
He did great.
I did not feel the same about the woman in that role. I just felt like she was trying to act hard, but wasn't really.
I kind of felt that way too. That's what I was gonna say.
In my opinion, she's the poorest casting of that show.
Yeah, and really, overall, the acting I felt in the whole season was phenomenal. Like everybody, for the most part, almost everybody did a super awesome job.
I think the best is the kid, the time jumper.
Yeah, the time jumper kid.
Great.
And he's impressive because of his age too. That he's.
I believed he was an adult trapped in a child's body.
Right. Yeah, he's very believable in that. But here was my biggest thing with it. I found it like I was just kind of joking around with it and like talking to some of my coworkers about it, and I literally guessed every single thing that was going to happen in the show.
Oh yeah, nothing. It was nothing about it is.
Nothing was like unpredictable. Like everything was like, this is what's going to happen. By episode 3, you basically knew the entire season's story. So that was kind of what bothered me, is like you were just waiting for it to happen.
The foreshadowing was sometimes a bit too heavy.
Yeah,
to where it didn't like leave any question. It was too early.
There was a couple things that was like, oh, I didn't see that. The fact that Dolores was a mannequin. I didn't see that coming.
That one, that's true.
He keeps talking about Dolores, and I was like, oh, he just left her there? Like, what the hell? And then he goes into the story, he's like, hey, Dolores. I'm like, what the?
It's an I Am Legend situation.
Yeah, am I watching some sort of like, perverted thing? Like,
that was funny. Yeah,
I did not see that coming. And when the monkey came in, I'm like, where the hell did this monkey come from?
Well, and I don't know, I didn't see like how like the time jumping agency. I didn't see that. I didn't expect him to be part of like that agency so much, but
oh yeah, I thought he just got angry and figured out how to jump time, and then all of a sudden there's time jumpers. I liked I kind of got a portion with the two agents. They reminded me of, do you remember Preacher, the 2 angels in Preacher that they die and they come back? You haven't seen that? They reminded me of those guys, like almost the same. Like Preacher gets the voice, right, where he can command people to do stuff. And these 2 angels are sent to, they call it Genesis. These 2 angels are sent to get Genesis and put it back in this box, right?
Okay.
And he had parallels to what was happening in this movie. Like essentially the boy comes back to stop the end of the world.
Right.
And these 2 agents are coming to stop him from stopping the end of the world. Like, which is kind of ridiculous when you think about it.
Yeah.
Why are they trying to stop the end of the world? Like, that's the end.
Yeah. They're trying to incorporate a theme that we see in a lot of time movies where there's people people trying to protect the timeline. But
Barry
usually,
Allen is always a bad person.
yeah, he's like, oh, I'll protect the timeline, and then he's like the biggest ruiner of it.
But this is the thing. This is the thing with that. That agency, in and of itself, is screwing with the timeline. Like we see that the boy shot John F. Kennedy, right?
Yeah.
And we see that they're killing all these people, but not for doing timeline stuff. They're just killing these people, right?
Well, it didn't really go into the reasons why they were killing those people. So we don't know what was happening exactly with why they were killing those people, but it seems like you're right.
Yeah, but the time agency seems like Barry Allen,
Right.
Yeah.
not the boy.
Right.
Yeah.
So then it does take into account what is the true motives of these people, which is maybe the only real like question about the show that like wasn't immediately answerable, but also
Which we'll probably get it.
but we didn't. Yeah, but we also didn't see that in the season.
Okay.
So everything that was actually in the season was very.
Another thing I didn't see coming though was when the sister, and I forgot all of their names, but when the sister who says I heard a rumor is talking to Ellen Page's character and she just slashes her neck.
Oh, I didn't see that.
That came out of nowhere to me. Well, like they're just
I
like
kind of saw that.
I thought
Like,
something
she's-
bad was going to happen, but for her to straight up slash her neck, like I did not see that coming.
yeah, I didn't expect that.
Because it was leading up to like their relationship was like improving and everything, and all of a sudden she slashed her neck for this guy that was a piece of
Well, but she
crap.
was just kind of going psycho.
She was.
Like,
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so I kind of like saw that coming. I was like, dude, she's freaking out.
Klaus's freaking powers, by the way, ended up being bad A.
Oh yeah, dude.
The guy who can see the dead.
Oh
and,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
use
yeah.
their powers. That was
Yeah.
cool.
That was so cool.
And once he figured that out, I was like, you gotta stay off the drugs.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But that's why he was on drugs. His powers were too heavy for him.
Yeah.
And he self-medicates so he doesn't have to experience his powers.
And that's what made this show so interesting. Is these characters are so. I love flawed characters, and all these characters are so flawed, and they're not completely likable all the time. And I just find those kinds of characters fascinating.
Yeah, that does pose my other major issue with the series, though, and really it's not major enough to where I didn't love it because I still loved watching it. But it was that because they had the inconsistency with you liking the characters, like there wasn't enough like between the characters where they had a camaraderie to like become invested in them. Like there were a couple characters who liked each other off and on, you know, or kind of friends, you know, but they were supposed to be a family who were supposed to care about each other, but it became distant.
Yeah.
Whereas you come back and you feel like they all kind of just hate each other.
Yeah.
For the most part, some of them like, you know, like the eighth guy and then the girl.
well, their father does that to them.
Their father does that to them, but it also made it a little bit less enjoyable because you're like, I want somebody to have a good, solid relationship and camaraderie in the movie or in the show, you know, and it wasn't there. You know, there's nothing solid. Everybody's just kind of like flailing around, I felt like. And they kind of catch each other at moments where they kind of get together and like, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to work together, and then it just fails.
Well, that's the part that I didn't. So speaking on your point,
So let me
the father.
finish your thought, but we need to talk Hellboy.
Yes, we will.
Oh, okay.
Let me. I didn't see coming that the father killed himself to bring the kids together.
That's true. I didn't see that.
So
That's true.
So sorry guys, I didn't see that coming. So apparently these kids have been apart for 10 years. So
Yeah,
that's why
I
there
knew
was
that
no connection, because first of all, they're not related.
Right.
Second of all, their father pitted them against them every chance he got. Not on purpose, but he did. He favored some of the kids over the others. He kept that one girl that turns out she did have powers in the closet. You know, and then he kills himself.
Yeah.
And then wipes the mom's memory or tells the mom she can't say anything. Like, it got kind of deep there for a moment.
Yeah. I just wish there was a little bit more where some of the characters had developed more of a relationship of trust between each other. There was that with the girl
The sisters. They were starting to.
Well, no, there was the ape guy, and then the girl who said, I heard whatever, like.
Oh, I heard a rumor.
I heard a rumor girl. Yeah, so they kind of had that a little bit, but then it was still shaky. You know what I mean?
It was creepy too.
It was a little bit creepy at the same time. Like, not only were they like foster brother and sister, but one was a monkey, half monkey. so
it was like kind of incest, kind of bestiality.
Yeah.
He wasn't before.
He wasn't before, but he is now, and it's still weird.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Like, I just would have. I mean, I still loved the whole season, but I would have liked to see a little bit more of that cohesiveness and a little bit more of a trust between somebody.
Yeah, they didn't build any trust until like the last episode.
Yeah.
Which I think that it's just a matter of those characters evolving.
Yeah.
And
maybe they'll have more of that in season 2.
Yeah, I think it's meant to be the long haul.
Yeah.
But all in all, what's your rating for Umbrella Academy?
I would give it, personally, I would give it a 4. I'd give it a 4.
4 out of 5
4 out
couch
of 5,
cushions.
yeah.
I gave it a 4 out of 5 and a throw pillow. So 4.5.
Yeah, I agree with Max. I would say it's a 4.5, and I think that my half is primarily on the choice of music. That I thought the music was so fantastically chosen that it pushed the story along perfectly. Like, I just thought the cinematography and the filmmaking aspect of it was fantastic.
Yeah, the visuals, the music, and the acting.
It was a complete
very
package. It was a complete package. You could pick apart. There's no such thing as a perfect movie.
Yeah.
But this was pretty good. So this last week, we all, in preparation for the new Hellboy movie coming out, which you had never seen the original Guillermo Del Toro's Hellboys, correct? Before, Max?
No.
Either of them. You've never watched them.
No.
Did you watch them before?
I had seen parts, but no.
Okay, so
I had watched them, but I watched like the original Hellboy in the theaters.
The first one.
And so that was so long ago that I just really didn't remember a lot.
Yeah.
So and then I saw parts of the second one, I think, but it wasn't like I sat down and watched it.
So I would be interested to hear, since he had no interaction with the character before, right?
Very, very little, yeah.
Very, very little. I would be interested to hear your thoughts on it first.
So I think that it was super fun. I don't think that they're great movies by any means. And to be fair, I mean, they're now, the first one's 14, almost 15 years old, and the other one's over 10 years old. So
yeah, so it came out in 2004.
Yeah, this is from before the MCU. I mean, these are before this golden age of comic book movies. So they're older. And as far as like those generation of comic book movies, they're good. They're fun. Ron Perlman's hilarious and they're charming and dumb and so campy. But I enjoyed them. I didn't love them, but I enjoyed them.
So I think that the ridiculousness of the character, it needs a little campiness. That's why I'm not so sure about the new one that's coming out.
I think the new one looks super campy too. Like, it's
not
totally meant to be goofy.
Like his suit, the dialogue, the interaction with Abe. Like,
I need to rewatch the trailer now that I've actually watched the movies. I don't even remember Abe from the trailer.
But Abe looks like the dude from Shape of Water.
Yeah, he looked like
and they're both directed by the same guy.
Yeah, I know. Right?
He looks like he took Abe and put them.
He's modernized it a little bit.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I thought.
So you didn't love it, but you liked it.
Yeah, I liked it. And you know what's weird? Most people told me the second one wasn't very good. I liked the second one better.
Oh, really?
I don't agree with that.
I don't think I like the second one better, but I enjoyed the second one. I thought it was good. But I agree. I think that it's a movie that is meant to be like action and monsters and not take itself too seriously.
Right.
And it hits the nail on the head for what it's trying to be.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's what you want, it's the perfect movie.
It's about a demon who loves candy. And
kittens
and is acting. He's like 70 years old, but acts like he's a teenage boy. In that first movie when he's like stalking his friend when she's on that date. He's so immature and it's funny and
and it brings out cool monsters, and you see cool fight scenes, and you got this cocky demon that's like fighting all these guys, and it's like a fun, enjoyable movie.
It's not meant to be serious.
Yeah, it's Guillermo Del Toro, and it's fun. Yeah,
I
liked it.
So you liked it?
Yeah,
but you didn't love it.
No, I thought it was great. Like I mean, it definitely wouldn't fall in like my favorite movies ever, but like I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. So
that's kind of what I when I was watching it, I'm like, oh yeah, you can tell that this movie is 15 years old because that's how the movies were back then. You could argue that these comic book movies didn't really start getting dark until the first X-Men, right? And even then, it took some time for them to get as dark as they are now.
Yeah.
Right? We didn't really have that until Batman Begins.
Yeah, I mean, well, you could argue though that the Michael Keaton Batman was fairly dark.
It was,
but it's still like, do you remember when you walk into Penguin's lair and he's driving a large rubber ducky? And stuff? There was campiness.
Well, but you look at the first one with Jack Nicholson playing the Joker.
Yeah,
like, that one was pretty dark. Even though there are some lines that we would now consider cheesy, like me and my brother always quote, like
guy,
or it
is a Tim Burton movie though.
Yeah, but I mean, it was I mean, that was darker. So we did have a little bit of that, but it wasn't as prevalent as now.
Yeah, right. But Hellboy was made in 2004. It looks like a movie that was made in 2004.
Yeah.
Ron Perlman. Do you have any issues with any of the casting?
No, I thought it was really good. I thought it was even a good choice with the I forget her name. The girl who's on fire.
Selma Blair.
Is that her name?
Well, that's the actress's
name. Yeah. She was really good in that. Like she played her role well, but she was also not like this super mega gorgeous girl that everybody would fall over, you know, like she's pretty.
Oh, Selma Blair. I would fall over Selma Blair.
Really?
She's in this movie called Cruel Intentions, and there's a makeout scene with her and Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Well, I mean,
I'm just saying.
I guess you can't get that out of your head. I guess like that. I didn't see that movie, but I mean, I can see that being a very imprinted on your mind. But no, I mean, like I thought that
I'm just saying.
I thought she was perfect for the role, though.
She
forever imprinted.
Yeah.
Here's what I really like the casting. I don't have any issues. I liked that Frank from Man in the High Castle was in it and didn't realize that. Frank or whatever. But I missed him in the second movie.
That's where he's from.
Yeah,
Yeah, it pissed me off. I mean, I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, I didn't like that he wasn't in it. I was like, what the heck? Where is he? Like, I liked him.
Even though what's his name? The agent, the main agent, Jeffrey Tambor. Do you know who I'm talking about? The old guy. Yeah, Jeffrey Tambor. He plays Agent Tom Manning.
Yeah.
And he's the one that's kind of overseeing the department and stuff.
Yeah, I like
the interaction with him and Hellboy is better in the second movie.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was funny, and I like that. But the other thing I didn't like about the second movie was that they changed her flames to red instead of blue. Like, they didn't explain that at all. I thought that was weird. In the first movie, she like does blue flames, and all of a sudden it's normal, like, normal fire. I don't know, I just thought that was kind of strange.
Did anybody notice that Ron Perlman's makeup was, not as well done in the second movie as the first one? You notice that he had smaller frame. He had less prosthetics on the second one.
Really?
I didn't notice.
Oh yeah, I watched them back to back. Literally 2 minutes. One ended, I put the other one on, and it was a stark difference when you're looking at it. His face seems smaller. And granted, these movies were made 4 years apart. They released 4 years apart from each other, but stark difference. And if you ever watch him again, just pay attention to how much. He was a big dude.
I guess we could just look at pictures of it, but
but he was a big dude in the first one, and then the second one he kind of had a smaller frame to him. And I don't know if that's because the second one there was a fight scene at the end with the villain who was operating the Golden Army, and it involved him like jumping around with a sword and like full on like there was a lot of movement. It was a good fight scene.
Yeah.
Not at all believable because that little guy in my opinion, should have beat the crap out of Hellboy with that sword.
Really?
Yeah, I think that might have something to do with it, or they might have had a smaller budget because the first movie did not do amazingly well.
Yeah.
The lines of that were just so dumb, and I loved it. Like, it was not meant to be serious, and just like at the end of the second movie when he's like challenges the guy to a duel or whatever, I can't remember what line he says, but it's just some real dumb quip, that was more common in the movies at the time, and I just thought it was perfect and great. And at the end of the first movie, when he has that grenade belt, and you know exactly what's going to happen, that he's going to use the grenade belt to like throw it in the monster's mouth and explode it.
Oh yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy does the same thing.
Yeah, that's true. And it was just great. I loved it. They were fun. They were fun.
Yeah, and I would say that the main piece that was missing from the second one was John Hurt, who played the agent.
Yeah, but I really have grown to like.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Seth
not
MacFarlane.
John Hurt. Rupert Evans.
Okay.
Who it is, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rupert Evans plays John.
Really liked Seth MacFarlane's character in the second one, though. Seth MacFarlane is that like vapor robot looking guy.
Yeah.
That's Seth MacFarlane's
That's
voice.
Seth MacFarlane?
Yeah. And
I did not particularly care for that character.
I just
he was
love.
annoying the crap out of me.
He is annoying, and he's supposed to be
annoying. Yeah.
And I think it's just a matter of I like the Orville so much, and I think Seth MacFarlane is so good in it, and he's come a long way from his. I mean, he still does Family Guy, but like I feel like he's come a long way as an actor that like I just loved seeing him in something from 10 years ago. I really enjoyed that.
I did not realize that's a bit frustrating that I didn't realize that's what that was.
Yeah, that's
but
him.
he was annoying. Like I thought that they were trying
Johan's
to put
supposed
him,
to be.
but I thought they were trying to put him as a replacement for Frank that was in the original movie, and I thought they were putting him in as a replacement, like kind of like a more comedic element. And I'm like, I miss the old guy.
But how satisfying was it when he punched him in the punched his glass out, like,
and then immediately gets his butt.
Well, yeah,
with
that's
some
hilarious.
lockers. But that was funny when he smashes it and it's a perfect imprint of his face.
Yeah.
Like that was pretty good.
But it didn't make any sense either because it was like, first off, you could just move away from the lockers, and secondly, like he's been hit by these such huge
But
monsters.
he's not very smart.
But like the locker, what is a locker gonna do? Like, I mean, anyway,
but I mean, I like them. They're some of my favorite comic book movies from that era.
Yeah.
I'd watch them again.
Not so much the second one. The first one is one of my favorite. The second one, I was left a little disappointed, but I did want to see where the story would go because it leaves it kind of open-ended with them quitting.
Yeah, well, and the baby thing was, I thought, kind of dumb, but whatever.
Well, and I didn't like, because in the first one, he was so devoted to the girl, and he was just like, everything was about her. And then in the second one, it was just like, okay, I have the girl, and now I'm going to be like a lazy chump. I didn't like that change in his character.
That was the other thing that I did not like about the second movie. The voice actor for Abe is different.
It is?
And it was frustrating the crap out of me because, I think
Abe didn't have a lot of lines in the first one, so I didn't notice.
The first one.
Oh, I did think the love story thing between.
So Doug Jones plays him in number 2, right? But in the first one, it is, I'm pretty sure it's the dude from Frasier. Oh, no, it is the same dude. His voice sounded way different in the second one.
I haven't seen The Shape of Water, but it's also the same guy that plays the monster in Shape of Water.
It seemed like his voice was lower and less of a British accent. Like, it was weird. And if you watch them back to back, you really notice that it's not.
I watched them fairly back to back. I mean, it was like one night and the next night, but
I literally I watched them Friday and 2 to 5 minutes passed between one movie to the other. Yeah, and I'm noticing all these different. Yeah, I'm noticing all these. Well, I work from home on Friday, so I'm working and watching Hellboy. And it was annoying me because in the first one, his voice was a lot higher and a bit more British. And in the second one, it seemed lower, and at times, like he would kind of not put the British spin on it so much. And I don't know if that was a tactic on Guillermo Del Toro's part. I don't know, because the first movie didn't make a ton of money. It made enough to get a sequel.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they were trying to change some things to make the second one more successful or what, but there's a definite difference in the two to where I thought it was two different actors.
I didn't notice.
I didn't notice. But we probably need to wrap up.
All right. So all in all, what would you give Hellboy 1?
3.5.
Yeah, I'd say probably a 3.5.
But mine's a 4.
Okay.
Yeah. Hellboy 2.
Same. I liked it a little better, but not enough to really increase the score.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably give it a 3.5 too. Then the second one, I enjoyed the second one. I thought it was good.
So I felt there was a drop off. Like some of the tropes in it were a bit.
Well, I'm kind of in between a 3.5 and a 4 for the first one. Like I'm almost tempted to go up to a 4 for the first one.
I would give the second one a 3 or a 2.5. I really don't care for the second one that much, but the first one, and I don't know, maybe it's because you've never seen them before, and I kind of knew what was coming. That maybe it didn't have the same luster for me as seeing it the first time. Because watching it the second time, it was not as good as I remember.
I just didn't understand the villain in the first one, really. Like, I didn't understand the motivation. Like,
he's just a Satan worshiper.
Yeah, he's worshiping a god, of the underworld.
Yeah.
It's essentially Blade, isn't Blade? Kind of the same thing. They're trying to bring somebody from the underworld, and I did get Blade vibes when watching this.
I haven't seen Blade.
I honestly didn't watch Blade.
You guys haven't watched Blade?
No, that might be another one we have to do. Watch the Blade trilogy.
When Blade was coming out, I was a young teenager, and my parents were not letting me watch rated R films.
Same.
So,
and it's just not something I
okay, we're gonna watch Blade. So be prepared to have an episode about Blade 1, 2, and Trinity.
All right.
Which I
talk about how bad Trinity is. I've heard it's awful.
Although Blade Trinity, you could argue that Ryan Reynolds playing Hannibal is the beginning of his Deadpool character.
Yeah.
It's very similar.
Nice.
He even wields 2 katanas. It's very similar. But yeah, a lot of people don't like Trinity. But Ryan Reynolds
isn't Jessica Biel in?
Yeah.
I mean, that
she was awful. Has she been good in anything?
Well, I mean, I love it whenever she's in anything. So,
is she good in anything other than just a?
I liked her in the A-Team.
I liked her in Total Recall.
Oh,
the movie wasn't great, but I liked her.
I liked her in Total Recall.
Yeah, both of those movies, I really don't remember any of it except Liam Neeson was in one and Total Recall.
Oh, dude, the A-Team was such an underrated.
It's so good.
That was such a good movie.
A-Team's great.
That was so good. Like, I wish it would have been.
I want to see.
I feel like it wasn't marketed well enough, and it was fantastic. Like that was like, for me, that was like the action hero movie.
So let's do this. You guys watch the Blade Trinity. I'll watch it again, of course. We'll have an episode, and then we'll do another episode on underrated movies. We'll each watch one that we think that sucks and the other ones love.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
I will watch A-Team.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
We'll have to do that. We'll have to wait a bit with Shazam and Hellboy, and there's some big movies coming out, and then Infinity War. But yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, so that wraps up tonight's episode. Thank you for joining us. I know we had a few people online and dealing with some of our technical difficulties, but we do have some news. Couch Crunchers is going to be with AZ NerdNet at Phoenix Fan Fusion at the end of May. We are doing 1 panel Thursday, 2 on Saturday, or 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, and 1 on Sunday. Tyler will be there. Max will not because he's in Colorado. But we will be there with the guys from Absolute Geek. Matt and Kyle, I believe, will be there. And we're going to try to get a few more of our friends to join. So we got some great shows planned. Sam, the movie mechanic, who writes on our website, and I know you guys read some of his articles. They are fantastic. He has some awesome ideas for some of these panels, and I think they're going to be a lot of fun.
Cool.
So, and that's Tyler's first time doing a panel.
It's my first one.
So
pop in my panel, Jerry.
Yeah, he's a virgin panelist.
You're probably about to have done more than me if you do more than one at the con, because I only did one.
Oh, really?
Last year, yeah. Because one of them got canceled halfway through, and then we didn't get to do another one because the convention center was closed.
Well,
there was issues.
I'm going to be doing 5, I know of, but I'm going to try and get the Sunday off. I don't know if I can get it off work. We'll see what happens.
But yeah, it should be a fun time, and we'll post times and dates. I know they gave us times, so we don't know which panels are going to be at what times. That they're just kind of like filled in. So Sam will post that information soon. I am trying to bring Couch Crunchers to the Zona Toy Con, which is in June, which is just a toy convention, and I love toys. In case you guys can't see my toys up here, which I just had to buy a new bookshelf to fit more toys. But we'll try to be there, and then of course,
grown man child.
I love toys.
That's okay.
But speaking of, I bought Ninja Turtles Munchkin, which everybody's going on and on about Ninja Turtles Munchkin, the board game.
Dude, I'm totally down for a Munchkin night. I love Munchkin.
So we need to do that soon. Everybody goes on and on about, and I bought the Monopoly Deadpool Collector's Edition.
Nice.
Nice.
I have the Zelda one.
But yeah, so we're going to try to be there, and it was awesome having the gang back together.
Yeah.
For night. I know we usually talk over YouTube, so this is nice.
Yeah.
But check us out on Facebook. There's a little bit issue with the podcast, which we're going to be fixing tonight, so that everything can be searchable. So if you're having issues, write us, and we'll make sure to get you all figured out. But do you have any news?
No.
Any news?
Nope.
So check out Tyler's Shazam review that he just posted online today.
Yeah, I just posted that a couple hours ago, so go check it out.
Yeah, they finally let us post it, so we've been sitting on this. Because you and I saw it, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, was it 2 weeks now?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I think I've seen other movies
Well,
since then.
I think it's been a week and a half.
Yeah.
Week and a half.
So it's been a while. So check us out on Facebook,
Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, even.
By the way, this is how it ends. Just kidding.
All right. So until next time,
nerds,
dorks, geeks,
unite!
Sorry.
You're fine, dude.